Alright, so why do we think it would be important to know the plot mountain in regards to theme development? Peter?
It like shows how the story goes, like the main points of this
Yeah. There we go, right? It explains how the story develops. If we can understand how a story develops, can we pick out things within the story that show how our theme was created? Yeah, right? This is why I emphasize the description part, okay? I can go through like the plot points of a story without using a whole lot of description pretty quickly. But without that description piece, you're not gonna be able to talk about the theme development, and that is our focus. Okay? We're gonna use the necklace from Unit 1 as our example as we work through this. Can somebody, or all of us, kind of work together here to give me some plot points from the necklace? We don't have to go in order. We can kind of place them around as we see fit. Peter, give me one.
Let's say for the climax, it's when she meets like her friend and finds out that the necklace is like fake.
For our climax?
Or even when she loses the necklace.
Yeah, there we go, right? So she loses the necklace. Okay, so if we're focusing on description, what are key description points of when she lost the necklace? Say it again. Okay, let's focus. Yes, you're right. That'll end up down here. So let's put that here. Before they land on buying this new necklace, what is like our immediate reaction? What happens right after she loses it? Okay, there's panic. What else? Well,
Sadness.
okay, maybe a little bit of sadness. What does she do? Who tries to find it? Her husband, right?
Oh yeah, she doesn't do it.
Good. So, right, she stays home and wallows. Are we slowly starting to see why the description part after it is important? Right? Not just the fact that she loses a necklace. We just learned a whole lot about our main character from pinpointing kind of how that scenario is described or went about. Okay? Alright, so they bought their new necklace. Any key details and descriptions when that took place that we would want to include? Okay, good. So when it comes to the working for 10 years, what kind of work did she have to do? McKenna?
Like kind of chores around the house.
And what did her husband do? He had more than one job, just one job, more than one job. So again, important because if this is what she's doing around the house, chores around the house, what does that tell us as an audience? McKenna?
That she was like kind of like spoiled by her husband. She didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, right? We're learning that she's a little bit spoiled. Are we seeing a connection between the previous plot point we just did? Yes, right? So that one, and that's what, this is like a strategy you can use as you work through this, okay? Put a star by that, and then maybe star those two, right? Her hubby's going around looking, she stays home and mows, okay? Very much connects to this idea of her being spoiled, because her work that she had to do for 10 years was like our reality, right? Make sense?
Yeah.
All right, give me another plot point. Arun?
Yeah, confusions before he around
sorry, the invitation to the party?
Yes.
Where do we wanna put that?
Probably around exposition. Or-
Around exposition, towards like the ending here of our rising, right, or beginning, I guess. So right, they're invited to the dinner. What key points do we know about this? McKenna?
It's a fancy dinner.
Okay, it's fancy. Will, did you have something different?
Yeah, she originally didn't want to go because she didn't have any nice clothes or jewelry.
Good. I'm just gonna put clothes. Sorry. Just shorthand. Okay, am I starring anything? We seeing a pattern? What am I gonna star?
She doesn't want to go.
Okay, the fact that she doesn't wanna go because she doesn't have an outfit. Okay, what else? What are the plot points? Will?
When she goes to her friend's house to borrow the necklace.
Any important description points for this one? Will?
She's envious of her friend because her friend was wealthier than her.
Good? Arun, did you have something different?
I was gonna say that she was in all of the necklace.
Good. What are the plot points? Nolan?
Thinks her husband spent his hunting money to buy her a dress.
Oh, yeah. So we would put this over here, right? Bought dress. Right, maybe we're starting that, okay? Again, kind of seeing a trend here of her relying on her husband to kind of feed into some of her habits or things that she wants. All right, let's hit our exposition and resolution. Peter?
The ending or resolution is when she finds out like how the necklace was going to be
Good. So her friend tells her, right? Okay, so her friend says her necklace was fake. Do we remember at the ending here how our main character was described versus her friend? Peter?
Just like described like really like she like aged a lot and like
Yeah, right? So Loisel aged, where her friend stayed the same, right? Alright, so some key description here. Because if we are looking for a message, right? We're trying to figure out how it's delivered and created. Our resolution is one of the key parts because this is where we're seeing like the end result, right? So you're getting a message and hints at a message throughout the entire plot, but here's like where they're taking that message or that topic and telling you what the outcome of it is. Does that make sense? So without the resolution, do we really know what our message is or what we're being taught? No, right? So the resolution is one of our key parts that we have to have. Exposition. What do we know about her from the beginning, Will?
That she always wanted a nicer life than she had.
In regards to what?
Well, mostly wealth. She
Yes.
wanted to be a lot wealthier than she was.
So with money, and I would emphasize that like luxurious items piece there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because what is, if we're going to step one, what is our topic? Our central focus. Yes, so a necklace, let's make that topic more universal. So more universal means like applied to everybody. What would a necklace be? Like, you might not care a whole lot about a necklace, right? But you have other items that you care a whole lot about, right? What do we call those? Possessions, right? So our possessions. So when we identify that topic, are we seeing mentions of possessions throughout this? Yes. Okay, are we seeing how the steps work? So all the things we just included in there are what step? Not applying them to the plot mountain, that's the last one. But steps 1, 2, or 3 parts from the story are which one? 2, right? 2 is that internal context, examining what's happening in our book or story, focusing on the description, right? Number 1 is identifying that topic. 3, external context, things outside of the book. What are some things we need to know in order to understand the story? Yeah, so that time period, right? And what kind of clues, even from within our story, are we given to know the time period? At least the time period he's relying on.
There's like some clues, like where you probably tell us like maybe like the 1600s to the 1800s, where like
So what were those clues within the story that told us that?
one of them was like the games where it's like kind of like giving like a ball or something.
Yeah, right? So kind of having this like big fancy ball that was happening. What else? Like,
They were like actually mailed, like it was not really mailed.
okay, so a mailed invite. That's hilarious. That just shows I'm old. Not an e-bite. I'm thinking like totally different topics here. Did she have a whole lot of choice of who she married? Why not?
She was rich.
Yeah, right? So they mentioned a dowry. Right, so money for getting married. She really can't attain this luxurious life. Not because she doesn't look the part, right? But because she doesn't have any money, right? Key details that, yes, are still included in the story, but they're telling us that external context, right? That makes some of this make sense. Again, we could also pull the story back out. I don't want to, so we're not gonna do that. But we could easily pull the story back out and look at about the author, background, and it would give us some of this as well. Okay. So, this is a part of it. But what's our end goal? What do we need for all of this to be helpful? Say it again?
To make a story.
So we have the story now, right? We've kind of plotted it out, but what is our focus of these notes? Pedro? Okay, so step 1, finding the theme, and then doing what? Well,
Figuring out how to develop maybe?
yeah, figuring out how it develops, all right? Or how it was created. Does everybody who reads a text have to have the same exact theme? No. Okay, a lot of it is based upon your interpretation. So most of the time, your theme is gonna be correct as long as it's actually universal. Meaning anybody could read it and apply it to their life. If we write our theme and say Madame Loisel and just explain a message directly related to the character, it's no longer a theme. Right? It's too narrow. Gotta make it apply to anybody. Anybody wanna try and give me a theme for this? Well,
Maybe something about being grateful for what you have.
okay.
Something wishing for something you get.
Okay, so theme. And again, we could fine tune this, right, to make it a little more formal. if we needed to, but for sake of time, we'll leave it at that. Erin?
Mine takes more work to find the truth.
Okay, mine takes more work than the truth. Also great. So once we have the theme figured out, what's next? Where would we go from here?
You have to like explain the theme, like how it correlates with the story.
Yeah, so how it was created though is our key part there, right? So even if I just explain what happened in the story, what am I doing instead of talking about how it's developing? I'm writing a what? If I just explain. A summary, right? So if we want to stay away from that, that's why this is important. So what could I circle on my plot mountain that supports this idea of appreciate what you have? Will?
Maybe the exposition.
Okay, so wanted a better life, right? If we were spending more time on it, we'd probably write down that she has a husband, and they have a roof over their head, and they have a maid, right? All things that sound like you already live a pretty great life. What other kind of key details here would we want to use to show how it was created?
The fact that she didn't wanna go to the dinner because she didn't have clothes.
Okay, so didn't want to go to dinner because she didn't have clothes. Did she actually not have any clothes? No. Yeah, she didn't think they were nice enough. What else? What else could we circle? Somebody new. Somebody who hasn't talked yet. Come on. I'm gonna make you all nervous and just call in a random person. Unless I have a new person volunteer. Cameron, give me something we can circle. What's something else that kind of relates to this theme here of appreciate what you have? So any plot point, any detail you're being given. Want to phone a friend? Dominic? Okay, being envious of her friend's money, right? What else, Maya? I saw that hand go up. Okay, give me another one. Sit down a different one. Yep. Give me another one. Deep, can you give me one? What's another plot point that supports this theme of appreciate what you have? Where do we see her kind of being spoiled or not grateful? Adrian, help him out. Say it again. Yep, that idea of like the chores around the house, right? The super hard work that she had to do in order to pay back all that money. And again, in reality, that's just life. McKenna?
I'd say the way that she aged as well is she didn't really be aging, just doing chores.
Yeah, the fact that she aged, right? Because that tells us what truly changed about her.
She was actually doing work around the house.
So yeah, she went through the change of doing work around the house, and then on the outside, she showed it, right? At the beginning of our story, what made her look like she could fit in with the wealthy? Looks, right? So because she was so heavily focused on the possession piece, the items, at the end of the day, it got rid of the one thing she had naturally. Following? Okay. So, key points to know. Yes. If I just write those all down though, I'm just gonna have a summary of the story. Right? Each of the things we circled are connected to who or what? necklace and the woman. From our internal context, what is our narrator, or sorry, our author then using to create our theme? Which piece, which one? Okay, so the plot points, characters, right? So if you were answering this question, not explaining it fully, but just answering it, you would put, we're not gonna write it out in a full complete sentence because I want us to get to the next example. You would put, right, the theme, and you would write it out. Appreciate what you have. Was or is developed through you could even put now everything you circled becomes your examples. Right? So we make our assertion, we make our thesis statement. Would this work as a thesis statement? Yeah. Right? We make all of those things come back to this. Make sense? As you get used to it or through it on your own, it's not gonna take this long, right? That's probably that is a whole lot of work to do before I get to my one sentence, right? It will become easier. It will become second nature and second hand for you to draw out the plot points. You probably won't always need a plot mount. I think the visual helps us right now though. Right? Eventually, you'll probably just be able to work through those steps. So do we have any questions? So if I didn't need an explanation, if I simply said, how is the theme developed in the necklace? What would our one direct answer be? Without using examples. If I just wanted that one direct answer, how is our theme developed?